Year 5, hope you're all okay. I'm going to carry on reading Kensuke's Kingdom that Miss Ahmed started yesterday. So, we struggled on with our suitcases, the gulls crying overhead, the yacht masts clapping around us and Stella yapping at all of it, until, at last, he stopped right by a gangplank that led up to a gleaming dark blue yacht. He put the cases down and turned to face us. He was grinning from ear to ear. "Here she is," he said. "Let me introduce you. This is the Peggy Sue. Our new home, well?" Considering everything, my mother took it pretty well. She didn't shout at him. She just went very quiet, and she stayed quiet all through his explanation going down in the galley over a cup of tea. It wasn't a spur of the moment thing, you know. I've been thinking about it a long time. All those years working in the factory, alright, maybe it was just a dream, but in those days. Funny, when you think about it, if I hadn't lost my job, I'd never have dared to do it. Not in a million years. He knew he wasn't making much sense. Alright then, here's what I thought. What is it that we all love doing most? Sailing, right? Wouldn't it be wonderful? I thought, if we could just take off and sail around the world. There's people who've done it. Blue water sailing, they call it. I've read about it in the magazines. Like I said, it was just a dream to start with. And then, no job and no chance of a job. What did the man say? Get on your bike. So, why not a boat? We've got our redundancy money, what little there was of it. There's a bit saved up and got the car money. Not a fortune, but enough. What to do with it? I could put it all in the bank, like the others did, but what for? Just to watch it dribble away till there was nothing left? Or, I thought, I could do something really special with it. A once-in-a-lifetime thing. We could sail around the world. Africa, South America, Australia, the Pacific. We could see places we've only ever dreamed of. We sat there completely dumbstruck. "Oh, I know what you're thinking," he went on. "You're thinking, all we've ever done is reservoir sailing, dinghy sailing. You're thinking, he's gone crazy, loopy in the head. You're thinking, it's dangerous. You're thinking, we'll be flat broke." But I thought it all out. I even thought of your gran. There's a thing. We won't be gone forever, will we? She'll be here when we get back, won't she? She's perfectly healthy. We've got the money. I've done my sums. We're going to do 6 months training. We'll be away a year, 18 months maybe. Just as long as the money lasts. We're going to do it safe, do it properly. Mum, you'll do the yacht master certificate. Oh, didn't I say? I didn't, did I? You're the skipper, Mum. I'll be the first mate and handyman. Michael, you'll be the ship's boy, and Stella, well, Stella can be the ship's cat. He was full of it, breathless with excitement. We'll train ourselves up, do a few trips across the Channel to France, maybe over to Ireland. We'll get to know this boat like she's one of us. She's a 42-foot bowman. Best make, best design. Safest there is. I've done my homework. 6 months' time and we'll be off around the world. It'll be the adventure of a lifetime. Our one chance, we'll never get another one. What do you think then? Excellent, I breathed. And that was exactly what I thought. "And I'll be skipper, you say?" my mother asked. "Aye, aye, Captain." And my father laughed and gave her a mock salute. "What about Michael's school?" she went on. "I've thought of that too. I asked in the local school down here. It's all arranged. We'll take all the books he'll need. I'll teach him, you'll teach him, he'll teach himself. I'll tell you something for nothing. He'll learn more in a couple of years at sea than he'll ever would in that monkey school of his, promise." She took a sip of tea and then nodded slowly. "All right," she said, and I saw she was smiling. "Why not? Go ahead then. Buy the boat." "I already have," said my father. Of course it was madness. They knew it. Even I knew it. But it simply didn't matter. Thinking back, it must have been a kind of inspiration driven by desperation. Everyone warned us against it. Gran came visiting and stayed on board. It was all quite ridiculous, she said. Reckless, irresponsible. She was full of doom and gloom. Icebergs, hurricanes, pirates, whales, super tanks, freak waves. She heaped up horror upon horror, thinking to frighten me and so to frighten off my mother and father. She succeeded in terrifying me all right, but I never showed it. What she didn't understand was that we three were already bound together now by a common lunacy. We were going and nothing and no one could stop us. We were doing what people do in fairy tales. We were going off to seek adventure. To begin with, it all happened much as my father had planned it, except that the training took a lot longer. We soon learned that handling a 42-foot yacht was not just dinghy sailing in a bigger boat. We were tutored by a whiskered old mariner from the yacht club, Bill Parker. Barnacle Bill we called him, but not to his face, of course. He had been twice round Cape Horn and done 2 single-handed Atlantic crossings, and he'd been across the Channel more times than you could have hot dinners, my lad. To tell the truth, none of us liked him much. He was a hard taskmaster. He treated me and Stella Artois with equal disdain. To him, all animals and children were just nuisance and, on board ship, nothing but a liability. So I kept out of his way as much as I could, and so did Stella Artois. To be fair to him, Barnacle Bill did know his business. By the time he had finished with us and my mother was given her certificate, we felt we could sail up the Peggy Sue anywhere. He had inculcated in us a healthy respect for the sea, but at the same time, we were confident we could handle just about anything the sea would hurl at us. Mind you, there were times I was scared rigid. My father and I shared out terror together. Silently, you can't pretend, I learned, with a towering green wall of sea 20 feet high bearing down on you. We went down in throes, so deep we never thought we could possibly climb out again. But we did, and the more we rode our terror, rode the waves, the more we felt sure of ourselves and of the boat around us. My mother, though, never showed even the faintest tremor of fear. It was her and the Peggy Sue between them that saw us through our worst moments. She was seasick from time to time, and we never were. So that was something. We lived close, all of us, cheek by jowl, and I soon discovered parents were more than just parents. My father became my friend, my shipmate. We became to rely on each other. And as for my mother, the truth is, and I admit it, that I didn't know she had it in her. I had always known she was gritty, that she'd always keep on a thing until she'd done it. But she worked night and day over her books and charts until she had mastered everything. She never stopped. True, she could be a bit of a tyrant if we didn't keep the boat ship shape, but neither my father nor I minded much, though we pretended to. She was a skipper, and she was going to take us around the world and back again. We had absolute confidence in her. We were proud of her. She was just brilliant. And I have to say, the ship's boy and the first mate were pretty brilliant too, on the winches, at the helm, and dab hands with the baked beans in the galley. We were a great team. So, on September 10, 1987, I know the date because the ship's log in front of me as I write. With every nook and cranny loaded with stores and provisions, we were at last ready to set sail on our grand adventure, our great odyssey. Gran was there to wave us off tearfully. In the end, she even wanted to come with us to visit Australia. She'd always wanted to see koalas in the wild. There were lots of our friends there too, including Barnacle Bill. Eddie Dodds came along with his father. He threw me a football as we cast off. "Lucky mascot," he shouted. When I looked down at it later, I saw he'd signed his name all over it like a World Cup star. Stella Artois barked her farewells at them, and at every boat we passed in the Solent. But as we were sailing out past the Isle of Wight, she fell strangely quiet. Maybe she sensed, as we did, that there was no turning back now. This was not a dream. We were off round the world. It was real. Really real. Have a lovely day, guys.